What's going on, everybody? Today I'm doing my Voyage review. One of my top bucket list coasters in the world was the Voyage. I've heard about it being one of the best coasters for years, and I finally got to experience it at its peak during Hollywood Nights. So we're going to get right into this video. I hope you enjoy. Starting with the statistical part of the video, Voyage is a Gravity Group wooden coaster built in 2006. It's actually technically a hybrid, having wooden track with steel supports, but everyone just calls it a woody. It stands at a height of 159 feet, which ranks 6th in the world for a wooden coaster. It goes 67 miles an hour, which is also 6th in the world for a woody. And it's 6,442 feet long, which makes it the second longest wooden coaster in the world. Those are very impressive stats for a wooden coaster. Overall, it's the 121st tallest coaster in the world, tied for the 102nd fastest coaster in the world, and it's the 7th longest coaster in the world, not including alpine coasters. The Voyage is one of 28 coasters made by the Gravity Group. Of those 28, it's the tallest, fastest, and the longest, so you can say it's easily the king of Gravity Group. Now let's get into the personal part of the video. Voyage is very heavily praised within the community. There are quite a few people who think it's overrated, and I do see why, because my first ride on it was nowhere near the hype it gets. But this ride warmed up extremely fast. Ever since after that first ride, it started flying. So for me, it's not overrated. For most enthusiasts, it's known to battle El Toro for the best wooden coaster in the world. I do prefer the Voyage a little bit, so let's find out why. Walking under the brake run into the Thanksgiving section of Holiday World is something that I've been waiting to do for years, since even before I became a full-fledged enthusiast. I saw this on Insane Coaster Wars, which used to be a TV show about coasters, so this was a surreal moment running to the coaster. And yes, we did run. And yes, I tripped and almost fell on my face, but it was certainly for a reason.
Oh my god. Oh! Almost face planted, bro.
I just got off Voyage for the first time, second to back. I got stapled, and it was first train of the day. Probably top 10, maybe like 10, possibly not. I don't know, I have to think about it. It'll warm up. I'm riding at night. I try not to get stapled. It's still an amazing ride. Very good airtime pops, jolts. It's not as rough as I thought it would be. And yeah, it's definitely the best Gravity Group I've ridden, which is good because I love Mind Blower. And yeah, I'll see you wherever we're doing next. Definitely a good ride though. But that turned to this eventually. We just got off of, I think, like the 6th ride in a row. Grimless night, Voyage. Oh my god. I can't believe it just happened. I thought I died. That would be my number one if you're riding like that every time. I don't know, we're just gonna have to see. Oh my god. Just finished riding 21st ride on Voyage today. Absolutely incredible. Maybe my number one. Probably. I mean, that at night is my number one. I am like bruised everywhere. That was incredible. Yeah, I don't know what just happened. 13 rides on it today. I don't even 34 in total. Oh my god. I don't know what just happened. So the Voyage holds up to 24 riders, and it's tough to say what the best row on this ride is. But I will say my best rides on it came in rows 10 and 11. You get the pole you'd expect to get in the back while being a little smoother than row 12, which it isn't bad either way for smoothness. It's honestly a lot smoother than I thought it would be. Overall, it's a pretty comfortable coaster, I would say. It's very aggressive, however, and with PTC trains, I don't recommend putting your arms outside the train because your elbows could hit the side of the train. That didn't happen to me on Voyage, but it has happened on PTCs before, so just beware of that. I was comfortable on Voyage though. Also, this might be a good time to mention something very sketchy that my friend Scott, aka Coaster Dog, did. He held my restraint up a couple of my rides when I had tons of room, and I can't have both my arms up on Voyage or else I'll immediately get stapled. And towards the middle and end of the ride, you need to have both your arms up on the restraint to keep it up if you're strong enough. So having both my arms up while Scott held my restraint up was wildly scary. At night you can't see what's coming, and it was so scary to the point I didn't know if I was
going through ejector hills or I was getting thrown from my seat to my death, because that's how I imagined it feeling. And there was no way of knowing because of how seriously dark it is back there. I was skeptical before because Beast isn't as dark as people make it sound. Orion kind of takes away the darkness, but on Voyage, it seriously is 100% pitch black, even with Thunderbird, so it was amazing. That first night ride when Scott held my restraint up, that was my best coaster ride ever, period. So shout out to him for that. But even normal rides are some of the best rides you can get on a coaster. And I know, considering I got 34 rides on Voyage in my 2 days at the park. The 500 person maximum at Hollywood Nights definitely helped that out, so I'm fortunate to have made the event. Let's talk about the elements, and I'll start off with some of the worst and make my way up to the best. Now, since there's so many elements, I won't be doing individual elements, but more different sections of the ride. The worst part, I would say, are the double camelbacks. You get floater, but not too special. Pretty fun at night with room though. I'd say it's a 6 out of 10. The first drop is good, but not elite or anything. It's better at night for sure. Some pretty good floater airtime. With the moon out there, I looked at the moon and I got butterflies. Something weird that I get, something weird my body does. Please don't judge me. Actually, you can, it's fine, but yeah, those are the facts. It does that to me. 7.5 out of 10 for this element, I'd say. Next, I'd say, is the section in between the camelbacks and the spaghetti bowl with the 2 smaller hills. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. There's some flagector to ejector there. Then I'd say the triple down, which is another 9 out of 10. At night with trims off, it's at another level. It feels very out of control at the bottom of the 3rd hill. After my eyes were messed up from the chlorine from the water park too, it made this element pretty trippy for some reason. And man, this element is so good. The spaghetti bowl section, I'd give a 10 if my restraint was being held up, no question. But usually it's not held up. So I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10 in general. Ejector there. After that is the return trip. So many amazing ejector hills and good turns. 10 out of 10 for sure. And then I'd say the finale, which includes the twisted downwards hill over the pre-lift. This was my favorite element on the ride, my first day at Holiday World. Then it wasn't my second day. I don't really have a favorite element because there's way too many to choose from. But anyway, that second downward hill that twists is awesome as well, but the first one is still better. And that final airtime pop before the brakes is one of the strongest parts of the ride. I got violently ejected out of my seat every single time. Then you'll get pulled into the brakes, which is very fun on this ride after you're recovering from that hill. So the finale gets a 10 out of 10. Choosing between the finale and return trip are really tough, but I like to say this ride gets better as it goes on, and it kind of does, which is honestly pretty awesome. That's kind of like Velocicoaster, how it just keeps getting better as the ride goes on. They also both start with a V. Coincidence maybe? Or maybe not. Now let's end off this review talking about certain categories. The 7 scale will be used for this, saying whether it's on the scale of terrible, below average, slightly below average, average, slightly above average, really good, or elite. So for negative G's, I'll say the Voyage is far and away elite, and it has at least 10 ejector airtime moments consistently. All are absolutely incredible. For positive G's, I'll say the Voyage is average. You won't feel too much, but the speed can be felt on the valleys, which is what kind of makes it feel sort of forceful. For duration, the Voyage is elite, of course. It's 1 minute and 45 seconds from first drop to brakes, which is incredible for a ride that only uses gravity after the drop. It is the second longest wooden coaster in the world for a reason. For comfort, I'll say Voyage is average. Nothing too luxurious, but nothing really that bad about its comfort either. PTCs aren't really the most comfortable, but they're fine. You do have to hold the restraint up to get insane airtime if you have the stamina, which does take away some comfortability. For pacing, I think Voyage deserves to be called elite. Running that fast for a ride this long is mental. Start to finish too, when the trims are turned off. And it's sequenced so well. Like I said, every section of this ride just keeps getting better. This ride didn't ruin other roller coasters, but it sure did give me a huge appreciation for it, and as the final score, it certainly deserves a 10 out of 10, no questions asked. Very long ride filled with almost a dozen consistently ejector airtime hills throughout in awesome woods terrain. And one last thing that needs to be mentioned is I was walking in line with Scott for Cheetah Chase for last ride of Splash and Safari ERT, and we stopped for a second to watch Voyage at dusk run through its second half. When I saw it for the first time, I shouted so loud. I can't remember what I shouted exactly, but it was very loud, and I seriously almost peed myself. It looked like an RMC Raptor with the pacing ahead, and it certainly felt that way on ride. I mean, trimless, unbelievable. Now, I probably still prefer Steel Vengeance and Iron Gwazi, maybe because I love RMC and the variety they bring. But as far as a coaster experience goes, Voyage trimless at night is otherworldly and an experience that you wouldn't forget even if you had amnesia. So, in conclusion, the Voyage is a ride you need to experience at some point. The best point is Hollywood Nights for the best experience, but you do have to be one of the 500 people accepted, so good luck to you. Even trimmed during the day, it was out of this world. It made me feel like I was about to fly out of this world. It's an aggressive boatload of airtime hills that feels like you're taking a voyage across the Atlantic for months in stormy weather, and it feels like you're about to sink, and it's amazing. So that'll do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more on this channel. Share the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.